Hi guys, and welcome back from Carly at the Herbathicary. Really good to see you guys again. If you're new to the channel or like the videos, please show your support by hitting like and subscribe down below. Welcome to number 4 in our spring crochet tutorial videos, and today we're making this gorgeous daffodil. You will need some kind of wire and a glue gun for this project. And your yarns of choice, I'm using a darker yellow for the tube and a lighter yellow for the outside, and my 3.5mm hook. And my 7-year-old painted my nails in this bright yellow to match. So we're going to be starting with the tube. So we're going to start with our slip knot on our hook as always, and we're going to chain 4 and then slip stitch into that first chain to make our round to work into. We're then going to chain 1 and do 6 single crochets in through that loop. Now we're working around our tail as well, so 6 single crochets into that loop. We're then going to pull our tail to tighten the ring. Check we have 6, and we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet we did, so make sure it's the single crochet and not the chain 1. In the second round we're going to be increasing, so we're going to chain 1 and do 2 single crochets into each stitch. Remember to go back into the one at the base of where you slip stitched, as that is your first stitch. So after round 2 we will have 12 single crochets and slip stitch to that first single crochet to complete round 2. Now in round 3, chain 1, and we are going to be working in the back loops only. So chain 1 and right back into where we've just slip stitched, but only in that back loop. So not under both loops of the stitch, just in the back loop. And we're going to do 1 single crochet into every stitch. So we're still maintaining a stitch count of 12, 1 single crochet all the way around into the back loops only of every stitch. Now we'll be using these front loops that are left over. We'll be attaching the petals to those, so you'll have 12 front loops to attach your petals to. So work your way around until you have 12 single crochets in round 3 in the back loops only. And as you can see, this is starting to make that trumpet shape. So I'm just working my 12th back loop single crochet, and we are going to slip stitch to that first back loop single crochet to finish round 3. In round 4 we're going to be working under the entire stitch, so chain 1 and back into where you just slip stitched, and we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So again in round 4 we'll have a stitch count of 12 single crochets. So that's 11 and 12, and slip stitch to the first single crochet to join, stitch count of 12 at the end of row 4. In round 5 we'll be increasing again, so chain 1, 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 2 single crochets in the next, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the next. So we'll be increasing by 6, so our stitch count will be 18 at the end of round 5, and then slip stitch in that first single crochet again to join. Now in row 6 we will just be doing 1 single crochet in each. As you can see, it's making a really cute tube pattern. So chain 1 and 1 single crochet in each stitch to keep our stitch count of 18 for row 6. and slip stitch in that first single crochet to join. In row 7 we will be doing our final increase, so chain 1, 1 single crochet in the first, 1 single crochet in the second, 2 single crochets in the third, 1 single crochet in the next, 1 single crochet in the next, and 2 single crochets in the third, and this will be increasing our stitch count to 24 for round 7. And this is our final increase for row 7. So that's 2 single crochets in the last stitch and then slip stitch to that first single crochet to end. Now this is basically the width the tube is going to stay at from now on, and we're going to build those petals on to that last one. So row 8 is just chain 1 and 1 single crochet in every stitch, again maintaining our stitch count of 24, and then slip stitching in that first single crochet to finish this round. The final round to complete the trumpet is a chain 2, slip stitch back into the base, slip stitch in the next, slip stitch in the next, chain 2 and slip stitch back into that stitch, slip stitch into the next, slip stitch into the next, chain 2 and slip stitch back into that stitch, and we're going to continue this all the way around to make that very pretty frilly pattern at the top of the trumpet. So this is my final chain 2, and I'm going to slip stitch along till I get back to that first chain 2 that we did, and this is the trumpet complete. So I'm just going to snip my yarn and chain 1, pull through, and sew in my ends before we get started on the petals in this pretty light yellow. Now I've got a really large darning needle, so it doesn't always go through, so I often have to pull out the pliers to help me pull it through. So I won't make you guys suffer through that. I'm sure you know how to sew in your ends by now, and we'll come back to do the petals when I'm done. So when doing our petals, we want to go from the top of the tube underneath rather than the bottom, and pick up the first of those 12 front loops that we had. Now I just do a slip stitch and pull my yarn through under that loop. So we're gonna chain 8. Then in the second chain from the hook, we're going to do a half double crochet. In the next, a double crochet, treble in the next, so that's wrapping twice, going through, wrapping, pulling through, wrapping, pulling through 2, wrapping, pulling through 2, and wrapping, pulling through 2. Then a treble crochet again in the next 2, so that's 3 treble crochets in total, so that's 2, and then a third treble crochet, then a double crochet, oop, that one got sticky, then a half double crochet, and then we're going to slip stitch in the next loop around, then slip stitch into the next, and repeat. So chain 8, ooh, half double in the second from the hook, double in the next, treble in the next 3, so that's 1, 2, and 3, then double in the next, half in the last, slip stitch into the next loop along, slip stitch into the next loop along. All these are getting really tight, especially where you joined, and then we're going to repeat this all the way around till we have 6 petals. So I've just done the last half double crochet of petal number 6. we're now going to slip stitch to that last remaining front loop, and then slip stitch into where we joined our yellow yarn, or our lighter yarn, or our petal yarn, whatever you want to call it. And we're now back at the base of that first half petal. So remember, there were 7 stitches, so we're going to count them back to make sure that we go into that first one. So there's the first half double crochet, and we're going to mirror the other side. So we're going to half double crochet into that first one, double crochet into the next, then 3 treble crochets, or 1 treble crochet into the next 3. So that's 2 and 3. Then double into the next, you should have 2 left, double into the next, half double into the last. Now there should be a random loop there at the top. You slip stitch into that, chain 2 and slip stitch back into it. The next stitch is the half double from the previous round, so we're going to slip stitch down. So make sure you get in the top of that half double, and we're going to do loose slip stitches because we don't want it to pull the petal. So we're going to slip stitch in that one, slip stitch in the double. Now remember to keep them as loose as possible. I keep going through my yarn, so we're going to slip stitch in that double. Now we're on to those trebles, so we're going to slip stitch in each of those trebles, and we're going to keep slip stitching along, remembering not to miss that last half double. Then slip stitching into the base where we attached, and now onto the next petal. So half double, and repeat this process on the other 5 petals. So I've just done my last half double. I'm going to slip stitch into that base, and then snip my yarn, chain 1 and pull through. And that is our flower complete. So for the stem, I've taken my garden wire, double the length of the stem that I require, plus what I need to attach it to the wreath. Now we're going to bend it in half, and then I've just got a little bit of the yellow because this is going to go in the middle. So I'm just going to wrap this around right at that bend. It doesn't need to be a lot, just so that you don't see the green wire when you put it in. We're then going to push that through the center of the flower. So I just put it on either side of that 6 that we did in the middle. We're just going to twist that at the back to secure it. I might actually use my pliers for this. Give it a good twist, just twisting as far as the stem length as you'd want those other 2 bits to secure it. We're then going to grab our green yarn, adding a small amount of glue to the base of that flower, and we're just going to start wrapping the yarn around that stem. So I start at the top and I work my way down, and then I work my way back up and do the bit at the top of the flower. When I get back to the top, as I said, just pop a little more glue actually onto the base of that flower. So I suppose it's that bottom row of 6 that we did. And I'm just going to keep wrapping that around the base of the flower, then snip off my edges once it's glued into place, and bend it over to get that classic daffodil look. And that's our daffodil complete. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let us know if you try this project yourself. They are so pretty, and even if you're not making a wreath, they're actually quite a nice addition to any vase. Again, thank you guys for coming back with Herbothicary. It was great to see you again. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.